The old gym floor echoed beneath worn-out sneakers and clumsy steps. Streamers drooped from the rafters, glittering in the soft lights of the community center's first-ever All Hearts Dance, a modest Valentine's event open to everyone, regardless of age, status, or ability. There were no velvet ropes. No red carpets. Just love in its rawest, purest form. Across the room, cleaning a spill beneath the refreshment table, was Jameson Wells, a tall man with tired blue eyes and shoulders shaped by burden. He wore a plain janitor uniform and a dust-stained smile, the kind that people often overlooked, but tonight, his presence would change everything. Jameson was a single father, and not by choice. Life had torn his wife away in a tragic accident 3 years ago, leaving him to raise his 8-year-old daughter Lily alone. Since then, he had worked nights and weekends, mopping floors and cleaning toilets in schools, malls, and now, this rented community center. He never complained. Because Lily was his world. She was also the reason he had offered to work tonight, knowing she wanted desperately to attend but they couldn't afford a ticket. Volunteering as janitor was his quiet loophole. Lily sat quietly at the edge of the room in a white cotton dress with a red bow in her hair, watching the other children dance. Her wheelchair barely rolled on the uneven gym floor, but her eyes sparkled with hope each time a song began. Born with cerebral palsy, Lily couldn't walk, but her spirit danced anyway. Suddenly, amid the bustle, a boy approached her. He was no older than 9, lanky, with oversized glasses and an awkward charm. He wore a bow tie that had clearly been fastened by someone else and held a single heart-shaped cookie in one hand. "Hi. I'm Caleb," he said, voice small but sure. "Wanna dance with me?" Lily's eyes widened. Most kids ignored her wheelchair. Some stared, some avoided, but no one had ever asked her to dance. Ever. I can't dance," she said nervously, glancing at her feet. "Neither can I," Caleb grinned, shrugging. "But we can sit and sway. That counts." And so, while the rest of the children ran and twirled, Lily and Caleb found a corner under the dim lights, holding hands and laughing, moving in their own rhythm. They were perfectly imperfect. What none of them realized was that someone had been watching: Vivian Lancaster, the elegant woman leaning against the far wall, holding a wine glass with more style than substance. Vivian was a billionaire businesswoman, owner of multiple international ventures, and known for being fiercely private. Most in the town didn't know she had a son, much less a son like Caleb. She had enrolled Caleb in therapy, the best schools, given him the finest clothes, and still, he never fit in. Until tonight. Her eyes welled up as she watched Caleb and Lily, both beaming. Two children often overlooked, now forming a connection deeper than any expensive gala she had ever hosted. Then her gaze shifted to the man quietly sweeping confetti near the bleachers. She'd noticed him earlier, holding a crumpled photo of a woman in his locker during setup. He had worked diligently, making sure the floors were safe, the bathrooms clean. And when the other volunteers vanished, he stayed. Curious, Vivian made her way toward him. "You missed a spot," she teased, pointing at a rogue balloon string. Jameson looked up, startled, then smiled faintly. "Wouldn't be the first time." "You're not like the other janitors I've met," she said. He chuckled. "Most of us aren't. We just blend in better." There was something in his voice, humble, weathered, unbitter. Vivian was used to being courted for her wealth, her power, her connections. But Jameson didn't even recognize her. And that, strangely, intrigued her. "Is that your daughter?" she asked, nodding toward Lily. He paused. "Yeah. Lily. My little light. She's dancing with my son," she said softly. Jameson looked over and smiled at the sight. "He's kind. Not many kids see her for who she is." Vivian glanced sideways. "I try to teach him kindness. But, sometimes I feel like he teaches me more." There was a beat of silence. I'm Vivian, she added finally, extending her hand. Jameson, he replied, shaking it, his hand calloused but gentle. Just a janitor. No, she said quietly. You're a father. That's a full-time job in itself. Their conversation was interrupted by a loud crash. One of the DJ's speakers had toppled over, spilling wires and soda all over the stage. Jameson instinctively ran to it. Within seconds, he was unplugging cords, cleaning the mess, checking the outlet. He wasn't paid for this. No one expected it. But he did it anyway. Vivian stood there, watching him fix a situation others would have blamed on someone else. She hadn't expected to meet someone like him tonight. And something deep inside her began to shift. The dance was winding down. Caleb rolled Lily over to her dad, who kneeled down and kissed her on the forehead. Did you have fun, sweetheart? Jameson asked. Lily beamed. Daddy, I danced. Vivian approached them, her designer heels clacking gently on the hardwood. Thank you, she said to Lily. For dancing with my son. Lily smiled shyly. He asked first. Vivian turned to Jameson. I know this might sound odd. But would you two join us for brunch tomorrow? At our home? Jameson looked taken aback. Ma'am, that's kind of you, but we don't really. I insist, Vivian interrupted, with rare softness in her tone. Caleb hasn't stopped smiling since he met Lily. And I owe you for reminding me what grace looks like. Jameson hesitated, then nodded. All right. Brunch it is. Vivian's mansion was nothing short of breathtaking. With rolling gardens, marble floors, and art that belonged in museums, it felt like another world. Lily was in awe, but Jameson remained grounded, gently encouraging her to enjoy the moment. During brunch, Vivian kept sneaking glances at him. He was sincere, steady, the kind of man who said little but meant everything. He talked about Lily's therapies, how he sold his car to afford a custom wheelchair, how he skipped meals sometimes to cover her schoolbooks. Vivian's chest tightened. She had the means to solve all of it. But offering charity felt like insulting his pride. So instead, she came up with an idea. What would you say, she began carefully, if I offered you a job here? Jameson blinked. Doing what? Supervising estate operations. Overseeing staff. Grounds management. You've already proven you know how to handle chaos with grace. He hesitated. I'm just a janitor. No, Vivian said firmly. You're a leader. And I want my son to be around men like you. Lily tugged her dad's sleeve. Please, Daddy. I like it here. His throat tightened. And housing? Fully provided. Medical too. For you and Lily. Jameson looked away, emotions flooding faster than he could speak. He nodded, tears threatening to fall. Thank you. Jameson moved into the estate with Lily. He became not just the head of staff, but the quiet force that changed the rhythm of the mansion. His humility inspired loyalty. His parenting inspired Vivian. Lily and Caleb became inseparable, wheelchair races down the marble halls, late-night storytelling under starlit patios. Two children who had been invisible in different ways, now shining together. One evening, as the sun melted behind the estate gardens, Vivian and Jameson stood side by side, watching their children chase butterflies. You've changed this house, Vivian whispered. You've changed our lives, Jameson replied. Then, in a rare moment of vulnerability, Vivian took his hand. I used to believe money solved everything, she said. Until I saw my son dance for the first time, with your daughter. Jameson looked into her eyes. And I used to believe love died with my wife. Until tonight. And in that golden hour, two broken lives began to heal, not through wealth or grand gestures, but through the quiet, powerful kindness of one man who stayed behind to mop the floors, and danced his way into a billionaire's heart. True worth isn't found in a bank account or a ballroom, it's in the quiet acts of love, the unnoticed sacrifices, and the children who see each other not for what they lack, but for what they are.